A few days ago, me and Chris Miller, aka Black Up India, did a hangout together. As a matter of fact, it was about a week ago, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, where we were talking about voting and how people need to be careful about who they vote for. They need to know who they're voting for. Because it seems that a lot of people, especially a lot of black people, do a lot of blind or what I like to call emotional voting, and it reflects in a lot of elections. And the reason I bring that up is because this story right here was brought to my attention actually by my dad, and he was asking me, did I hear about this? And I was like, no. And like, I heard it from him first before I heard anything from lamestream media, and to be honest, I didn't hear anything from them, and I had almost forgot all about it until it just happened to pop up in my head. But this man in this picture, his name is, and forgive me if I mess it up, his name is Byung Peter Bang, and I think that's how you pronounce his name. His name is spelled Byung. Peter, that pretty much speaks for itself, and so does Bang. But he is the former chief operating officer of the Montgomery County Department of Economic Development. And Montgomery County is in Maryland. If y'all remember, I told y'all about Montgomery County in the previous videos where I told you that was the county that had these teachers cheating for their students on this Maryland statewide test. Well, it's no longer around because they threw the entire test out years ago when I was still in school. And they couldn't get the accuracy correct as far as who, if the test was like legit or not after that happened. It was a pretty big case at the time. But you wouldn't really hear about that anymore because Montgomery County is a predominantly white county. But anyway, that was the position he used to have. And I'm sure that based on what I'm looking at, and because it says official behind it, that he was most likely elected into that position. But he's now the former chief, the COO of that position, because he is facing hefty federal charges of embezzlement. This man stole $6.7 million. And let me say that again. He stole $6.7 million from taxpayers' money to fund his gambling addiction. That means the taxpayers' money that was supposed to be going towards developments for the county or things that was needed for the county, he took that money and used it to fund his gambling habits. And notice his title says Department of Economic Development, meaning it was supposed to help build up the county or anything that needed to be fixed. That money was supposed to go to like maybe better roads, better streets, schools, what have you, whatever needed to be fixed. But he was taking that money and he was using it to fund his own habits. It said, according to the article that I skimmed through, this dates back to 2007. So we're talking over 10 years worth of him doing this. And it added up to almost $7 million. And the way that they caught him, and I don't know why people do stuff like this because it always catches you, the IRS caught up with him. They were saying how they found $20,000 spent here or $35,000 spent here. This man was spending thousands of dollars at a time at casinos. I don't know how anybody could do that. I don't even know wealthy people that go and do that. But do y'all remember a few years ago when they made a big deal out of Michael Jordan going to Atlantic City, New Jersey to gamble, and how they got so upset that he spent just a little bit of his money that he earned and got so upset because he did that. And he didn't spend nearly as much as this guy, and Michael Jordan has way more money than him that he owned, that he earned. This guy did not earn any of the money that he spent. He spent other people's money. Those people's money thinking that it's going to things that need to be done and fixed. And then you turn around and you find out that this guy's been stealing from you the whole time for over 10 years to fund his gambling addiction. That is an addiction, because anybody who can spend thousands of dollars at a time in a casino definitely has a problem. apparently he did not see the gambling hotline number that's plastered in every single casino that you go to. But they said that he's going to be formally sentenced in February. He has pleaded guilty. I mean, he pretty much has no point but to plead guilty. I mean, he would look foolish pleading not guilty. But he's most likely going to do some serious jail time because embezzlement is no joke. For those of you who live in the DMV area and who remember the story of Jack Johnson and his wife, y'all already know what happened with them and what they tried to do, because they got caught up in some embezzlement as well. And that was a black couple that did that. And that was another elected official. That's why I said you have to be very careful of who you elect, because you never know what kind of motives they truly have. You really don't. You have to know what is in it for you. You cannot vote blindly and emotionally. Just because they have a D behind their name for Democrat does not mean that they're for you. This guy got caught up in a gambling addiction. He couldn't stop, because usually when you get addicted to something, you have to go to rehab. Apparently he didn't like it. He probably loved the thrill of taking other people's money and using it to fund his own addiction. And he probably got hits here and hits there, but then he had to find a way to try to recover the money that he lost, but he just couldn't stop. And he just kept going on, and it racked up to millions of dollars. It went from thousands to millions, almost $7 million of taxpayers' money to go throw away and waste away in casinos. And it didn't specify how many casinos he went to. It just said gambling addiction. So it could never necessarily just been casinos. He could have been doing the lottery, because that's a form of gambling. He could have been doing some illegal stuff with that money as well. But one of the biggest things that he needs to do as a consequence is they need to find a way to make him pay back every penny of the money that he stole. All of it. They need to find a way to make him pay all of it back. But that's really all I have to say as it pertains to this story right here. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.